The Charleston player out of the way going for that effort. I can see Martin running his second year as the head coach of the Indy 11. Not much time to train between a Wednesday night Open Cup match and a Saturday match at Lucas Oil Stadium. So what did Martin Runny do on Thursday? Took a ride in the two-seater for the upcoming Indy 500 around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He and goalkeeper Evan Newton had that honor as Ioze was breaking some ankles out there on the turn. Ruled to be a clean challenge by Charleston. Going both directions, Indy 11 get away with a physical challenge as well against Kotaro Higashi. Both sides looking for a whistle that does not come. Anunga plays a fantastic ball wide.
That was.
Throw in coming here. Ioze back in defense to block the cross from Mario Piggott.
And this is going to be an interesting kind of tug and war and chess match here. You know, who's going to make who blink first? Is Ioze going to be so dangerous that you keep Piggott from getting forward, or is Piggott going to be so dangerous that maybe Ioze tucks deeper today?
And Evan Newton, about as easy of a first touch as you'd like for the starting goalkeeper. Had a fantastic year last year with FC Cincinnati. And we mentioned he too got that ride around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I know that the driver for Martin Rennie was Mario Andretti for his laps on Thursday morning.
Unbelievable.
Opportunity here with some space. Now Mattern. Mattern had the night off on Wednesday, so you expect fresh legs from Nico in this evening's contest. And a throw in coming for Indy. Here's Carl Ouimet. Got the first two starts of the season for Indy, then sat for the better part of April, but from that early Patty Barrett red card on May 1st, he has been in the lineup, and not surprising knowing Carl, he has not been out of the lineup since.
No, and you know, class act, and this is a great thing for all players to observe. You know, when your name doesn't get called, you know, don't hang your head. You come out, you train, and you wait for your opportunity. When your opportunity comes, like Ouimet took, you know, he's not been off the field since.
Good idea by Enevoldsen, just put it behind Ioze, and now a potential counter opportunity for the Charleston battery. Great communication between Ouimet, Hackshaw, and Newton.
Yeah, and also between Gibson and Ioze, because Gibson tucked out into that space so that Ioze didn't have to make a sprint back to recover.
Long distance ball that does not work for the Indy 11. This Sports the Match is presented by Community Health Sports Medicine. Dream big, work hard, and finish strong. A lot of activity in the midfield so far in the opening 10 minutes of this match. Potential opportunity here. Goal kick coming for Evan Newton. Target was Arthas Basawa. He is one of the new faces on this Charleston battery team. Played his college soccer at Columbia. We seemingly drop Ivy League references on a semi-regular basis.
There's a lot, and you take a look at that. Look at that as a target for him. What is he, 6'3", 200 pounds? And that was a great ball over the top. Just an unfortunate touch. Otherwise, they've got an opportunity.
Svan Tessen kind of plays a similar role as far as a target player. He's 6'6" when we see potentially number 9 enter this match, as we almost expect him to do later in the match. Talked about his scoring prowess in the open of the broadcast and what he did for Charleston, their Open Cup victory on Wednesday night. That was actually his first match since April the 13th.
They got a couple weapons on the bench. Zico Lewis is another one. He statistically leads them in everything from shots, goals, assists, chances created. He played a lot of minutes on Wednesday night. So, you know, the battery in a tight match that didn't get the victory until late, he had to play a lot of minutes in that match, but I'd expect to see him here.
Long distance ball for Enevoldsen. Gibson trying to follow it up and is whistled for the foul as he and Piggott collide. Gibson does have a goal this year. Not a guy that gets forward often, but We've been so used to the trio of Enevoldsen, Kelly, and Pasture for the Indy 11. Pasture, who played on Wednesday, likely to come off the bench this evening. So Gibson maybe gets an opportunity to play a little bit more forward this evening.
Such an engine in the middle of the field, though. He does a lot of the dirty work that doesn't get statistics.
He too played for FC Cincinnati last year, one of 4 former members of the now Major League Soccer side to join the Indy 11. Another in Kenny Walker just kept that ball in play and knocked it forward towards Dane Kelly, but no opportunity yet for a 5th goal of the season for the all-time leading goal scorer in the history of the USL Championship.
When you look at the comfort in that ball, Van Schaik heading it back into goal, and you got Mueller next to him. Keeper, center back, outside back, the core of them have been together, what, 13? No, that's like almost 20 years with this club.
Mueller, 8th year with the Charleston Battery, 4th year as the team captain. In fact, he's been in Charleston so long, his teammate in Charleston used to be Dane Kelly, who spent time with the Charleston Battery and scored 21 of his 71 USL Championship goals while playing in Charleston. Some space to operate here. Higashi with the lead. Player got tripped up inside of the box, but not enough contact to warrant a point to the spot. Player that went to the turf was A.J. Patterson. And now Newton elected to retreat on this one instead of going to pick it up, but a bit of a mistouch that time by Basua. Leads to an opportunity for an easy clearance from Lukas Farias.
And you take a look at Patty Barrett turns to Evan Newton, and they just looked at each other, a little hand signal. You know, there's a little miscommunication. That's one of those in-between balls that you got to be early with your communication on to make sure that your back knows exactly what you're doing.
Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues in the world. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, visit SelectSportAmerica.com. Minute number 15 here at Lucas Oil Stadium. And for those watching outside of Indianapolis, Indy was at home for their Open Cup match on Wednesday, but did not play here. They played just 5 or 6 miles north of here, campus of Butler University at the Selick Bowl. And now the Indy 11 are back here for each of the next 3 Saturday nights. Special jerseys will be on display next Saturday for the Indy 11. As for the first time in franchise history, they will be playing on race weekend at home. We'll show those Racing Indy jerseys to you later in the broadcast. Believe me, you will want to order several.
They're amazing. Absolutely amazing. I think I was telling you, I got a text from my son at 1:30 in the morning. Said, I'll take a size large in that new jersey if you get a chance.
I don't know if my social media emoji game or lingo is all that strong. I will show my middle age. But I think they're either lit or straight fire, one of the two.
Yeah, I get, you know, my daughter says lit, and she uses it in a variety of terms. Sometimes I think it means it's really cool, and sometimes it's like, it's not cool.
Well, the cool version. Go with that.
I will, but I can't figure it out either. Let's just stay with our terminology.
Neville Hackshaw trying to set up a goal against his former club. Good looking ball here. Gibson back post, but Kuzminski. Again, it's easy to see why he was the goalkeeper of the week in the USL. 4 saves in his 3rd clean sheet of the season for Charleston last Saturday.
Zero hesitation. Zero hesitation. You know, sometimes you take just a beat to make sure that you understand the flight of the ball and the path of the ball and the traffic in the box. Zero hesitation. He read it perfectly from the kick.
Hackshaw races over to clear that ball away from Basua. Newton, not exactly the clearance he wanted, but effective enough. Throw in coming here for the Battery. Kuzminski played his college soccer at UAB. His 3rd season with the club. Good look at A.J. Patterson there. He played last year with the Bethlehem Steel. We saw him here a season ago, but for a different club. The Bethlehem Steel might be in the minds of the Charleston Battery because that is their only loss of the year. That happened on April the 13th. Charleston comes in 4 wins, 4 draws, and 1 loss. Piggott kept it in play, and Iose quickly knocks it sideways.
You take a look when the 11 turn it over. Charleston is looking for the space, is pigging on. Can we hit it in that space? Almost the same thing that the 11 does with Kelly.
These two teams' last league matches both resulted in 0-0 draws. Last two have been that way for the Indy 11 against Tampa Bay and then North Carolina on May 1st and May 4th. Charleston last week was a 0-0 draw against one of the best teams in the East against St. Louis FC.
Do you see that composure in the back third? The one-touch play under pressure, calm, composed, breaking the press, and then having a pretty good opportunity to Voltson and Kelly.
We mentioned this in the 0-0 draw against North Carolina FC, especially 2 weeks ago, but I'm not sitting here in minute 19 thinking it's going to be a non-goal game again. But one of the things I keep hearing you talk about these two teams, Brad, is how similar they are.
Very much so. You take a look at they play a lot, the lion's share of the match with the three-back system, the 11. Iose tucks forward sometimes and tucks back, but you're pretty much looking at Hackshaw, We Met, and Patty Barrett. And then you look at the three-back of the battery. And here's the thing. Neither one of these teams gives up a lot of goals.
Iose on point to Kelly. Can he get it to his feet? No.
What a ball.
But we have seen those 50 and 60-yard precision passes from Iose over each of the last couple of years. And that one couldn't set up for a goal, but yet again, a dime from Iose.
You just cannot make a mistake. There's two ways you stop that. You either got to get pressure to the ball to stop Iose from getting the serve off, or you've got to beat Kelly to the ball.
Iose just 1 assist so far this year. The assist leader for the Indy 11 is Kenny Walker with 3. Again, that's in limited minutes as he has dealt with injuries. He's been fully healthy all month of May, but missed a large chunk of the month of April. There's Kenny with the ball at his feet now. One of those guys that went the distance on Wednesday night and back for more this evening. Fans, you can show your Indy 11 pride and get your exclusive Indiana Members Credit Union Indy 11 debit card at any Indiana Members Credit Union branch, or log on at imcu.com today. Well, tracked down by Vincenzo Candela for the battery. Moving the midfield for Charleston. We saw some extended possession along the back line for the Indy 11 moments ago. Charleston could be looking to do the exact same thing. And Hackshaw will watch that ball helplessly go across the byline for a goal kick. Fans, you can follow the Indy 11 and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN+, home to the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. Join the over 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN+ and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com. Turnover leads to an opportunity here for Charleston. Marini could not get it to go through. He's got a couple of goals this year. Marini in his 6th season with the battery, although we did not see him last year because he missed the year due to injury.
He's a pacey, creative player.
But he's offside that time. I think when you're 5'7" and 160, and that might be generous on both, I think you have to be pacey. Good look at the Brickyard Battalion, enjoying the roof being open this evening. Boswell goes to the turf, asked for a call, didn't get it. Now can Kelly hold things up for Indy? Looking for Enevoldsen.
Great read by Mueller.
Farias. Couldn't latch on to Enevoldsen. Farias, a native of Brazil. Mattern, good recovery. Unfortunate play. You look at Higashi there, he's got 20 yards of space in front of him. He carries a little bit further. One of the 11 defenders has to step and has to try and slow that down, and that's going to open up a lane for him. Just passed the ball a little too early. Now Kelly onside, Mueller in support. Plays it across, had a man back post, but just overcooked the cross. Enevoldsen was the closest attacking player to it. In all competitions, Enevoldsen got his third goal of the year on Wednesday, just 2 in league play. Starting to see a little more space open up in favor of the Battery. But as they have for the majority of the season, you'll see that space, and quickly the back line will close it down for Indy. Patty Barrett defending. Knocks that away from Patterson. Mattern couldn't keep it on his feet. That's a tough one. You got to be careful in moments like that, because when you start attacking, when you start compromising your shape defensively, a turnover there right on the edge of your defensive third could be disastrous for you. Second-year pro from Germany for the Indy 11. Played 1 year of college soccer at Indiana Wesleyan. Made the team really as more of a tryout player than anything else a year ago. On the cross, we met. Quickly sweeps it away. Finds the feet of Patterson for the Battery. Good tackle by Farias. Counter opportunity here. Hackshaw had the first goal of the season for the Indy 11. And a 2-1 loss to St. Louis FC back on March 9th. Also got one in their last victory. The 3-0 win against the Bethlehem Steel. 1 week after the Steel had beaten the Charleston Battery. Kelly and Enevoldsen lining up, but I think that's the pass that the front line was expecting. That ball slid behind Gibson. It was interesting to watch. Gibson is kind of playing forward and kind of taking that usual Tyler Pasture role for the Indy 11 tonight. And the consistency that he has and the effort and the energy he brings, you know, you're not as concerned with him getting forward, because you know he's going to track back and he's going to have the energy to do that for 90 minutes. Giveaway here. Can Indy 11 pounce quickly? The step by Barrett kept the attack alive. He thought there was a foul there. Official says otherwise. Now, you've seen good opportunities for both teams on turnovers. The problem is the decision making off those turnovers. Either been a soft pass, a bad pass when you've got numbers, or a turnover off the dribble. If one of these teams can clean that up, that's going to be the difference in the game. Fans, you can join us every Saturday morning for Soccer Saturday on 107.5 FM and 1070 The Fan. Or you can log on to 1070thefan.com and check out previous episodes. This week we focused on the Indy 11 Open Cup victory, and a big part of that was Jordan Farr making his Indy 11 debut. This is his second year with the team. But with the red card picked up by Evan Newton, Farr stepped into the void and did a fantastic job keeping the shutout and helping the Indy 11 pick up the 1-0 victory.
I'll tell you, one of the great things about how that moment occurs, you don't have to think about it. You're not listed as the starting goalkeeper for 3, 4, 5 days, and you've got your pro debut, and you're going to overthink it. It just happens. And so you get to go out there and you get to rely on your athleticism, your tactical understanding of the game, and just be the keeper.
We talked about that in the interview on the show this week, saying, hey, listen, if you know you're getting to start, you've got family that are thinking about coming into town and things along those lines. Now he knows he's getting to start in the Open Cup match on May 29th. He's from Oregon. His family is planning on flying across the country to Pittsburgh to watch him play in a couple of weeks.
Okay, look, if Jack or Mia gets their first professional start, I don't care.
Yeah, you're doing the game by yourself. I'm gone.
What country it is, you're going to go.
His dad was actually planning on being in town for the 500 next weekend, and now is going to stay in town and drive to Pittsburgh to watch his son likely get his first start a week from Wednesday.
Now, his dad was a player, wasn't he?
I believe so. Down the left flank, great job by Van Schaik of avoiding the sliding tackle from Barrett. However, he could not keep it in the field of play. Throw in coming for the Indy 11.
Yeah, that's tough. You don't want to see Patty Barrett, running down and getting ready to slide. You want to push that ball far and jump as high as you can away from that.
I think that was a business decision by Van Schaik.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll give you the throw in. I'm going to keep my legs another day.
Barrett amongst that 4 former members of FC Cincinnati. It's he, Walker, Gibson, and Newton. All on the pitch tonight for the Indy 11.
You look at the 3-back of the battery. And when Indy builds like this and possesses like this, they drop their outside mids and they play a back line of 5. And that's going to be very, very difficult for the 11 to break down. So you see these extended moments of possession. They're just looking for that soft spot. They're looking for the guy who doesn't shift on time or doesn't shift right. And they haven't seen it.
Anunga forces the turnover. 2-man opportunity here between he and Basua. Not getting any supporting runs yet. Now it comes Higashi to join the play. But by that time, good recovery by Gibson. We've talked about his skill going forward. Now we just saw the skill we've seen from him all year, and that's closing things down defensively.
Yeah, and I tell you, I don't know if you're looking at these errant passes in transition on these turnovers, these soft passes, these bad decisions. I don't know if that's a repercussion of both teams playing on Wednesday night, but both teams are missing that final moment to put somebody in the defensive third when they steal a ball in transition.
Enevoldsen, there's an opportunity. Iose has Kelly. Kuzminski got to it just in time.
A read. What a read. That's a guy right there that has watched film on Kelly and Iose. He can't cheat off the front post. He can't, because Iose will get him. So he's got to sit there. He's got to take that shot away and then position himself so that when Kelly does make that slashing run in the middle, he can get there. What a play.
A save that's almost as sweet as that facial hair. It's close. It's a pretty nice combination he has going. This Sports of the Match presented by, I'll save you. This Sports of the Match brought to you by Honda Manufacturing of Indiana, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11.
I was going to say, man, I've got a cold. Don't make me laugh.
I think that's a key moment of every broadcaster, you and I, just cracking up in laughter for some reason at some point, right?
Yeah, but usually I'm quicker on that cough button.
So still scoreless here in minute number 32. Good read by Patterson, however. Bassa was in an offside position, which is why he somewhat lackadaisically went after that ball. The restart needs to happen a little bit further back, says our referee Lukas Zapala. Higashi applying pressure for the battery. The Battery, one of those great names in American soccer. And let's go back to just the fact that when we referenced Mike Anheuser having ties to an organization for 25 years, that tells you the team has been around for at least 25 years. We feel the Indy 11 now have been a staple in central Indiana and in the NASL first, now the USL. This is year 6 for Indy. 25 years that Mike has been with this franchise, and this franchise before Mike got there too.
Yeah, and they've won championships. He won Coach of the Year. You know, he's had opportunities to go elsewhere. I asked him today. I said, "What keeps you there?" It's like, you know, it's a beautiful place to live. It's a great city. We've got a great fan base. We've got a great stadium. We've got great ownership. And the consistency of players wanting to play there and be there allows them to track down talented guys.
A playoff team a season ago were the Battery. Just like the Indy 11. Long distance ball. Kelly able to get between 2 defenders, but again Kuzminski quickly off his line and knocks that ball to section 113.
Kuzminski has got 2 saves right now that won't show up on the stat sheet, but they are from the film room.
One more look at Kuzminski's latest solid play.
And this is one thing, you know, you tell young goalkeepers all the time, don't just worry about the problem that you have to handle in the moment. Start thinking about the next problem. So Kuzminski's focused on the ball and it coming down the flank, but he also knows where Kelly is. He knows the speed, he knows the space, and he knows how far he's got to get off his line to be able to beat him to a ball.
Now, 2 outstanding netminders in tonight's game. Newton, frankly, has not been called upon yet in the fashion in which Kuzminski has. Think back to the last home game, because really, again, even a man down, Evan didn't see that much traffic on May 1st. Then he had to be ready in the second half after not doing much, and he's ready to make a play immediately.
Which game was that? Because he had
North
nothing
Carolina
to do.
2 weeks ago.
Exactly. He had nothing to do, and then 2 incredible saves to low right that were both in.
Be sure to tune in on Wednesday, May 22nd. That'd be this Wednesday at 8 o'clock for Wednesday Night Soccer, as league newcomers Birmingham Legion FC welcome Nashville SC. It's the week's best match on Wednesday Night Soccer, May 22nd. It will be at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. That's on ESPN News. And this is the part as the Indy 11 broadcaster. I check the schedule and say, good, Nashville SC is coming on Saturday night. They first have to play on Wednesday before coming to Lucas Oil Stadium. Request for a handball, don't get it. Now the ball played forward for Ina Voltsen. Turn is forced by Leland Archer for the Battery. Kelly leaves it for Farias. Farias deflected, corner.
That first touch just gets caught underneath him, allows the defender to come and close the angle and get a piece of the ball. If that first touch is a little bit more out in front of him, he's in the goal.
Great decision, though, to let that ball roll through by Dane Kelly.
Oh, clever. Because, you know, he's got a goal scorer's mentality. He wants every ball in and around the box.
Lukas trying to get his first Indy 11 goal in his first Indy 11 start. And this is the combination that was so lethal for the Indy 11 a season ago. The educated left foot of Ioze on a corner. Looking back post. Clears everybody. We met the closest player to it. And that will roll harmlessly for a throw-in.
That's tough. You read body language. You could take a look right after Ioze kicked that ball. His head went down, and he knew it wasn't in the spot that he wanted.
This portion of the match brought to us by the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. Take your business to the next level in a state that works. Of course, we talk about Ioze being a creator of goal-scoring opportunities. Folks in Charleston know him for scoring goals. He had a brace against Charleston here last year. One from the spot and the other on a bending free kick that we've come to expect from Ioze. Farias again plays it back post, right idea. Kelly goes to the turf, will not draw a whistle. Goal kick coming for the Charleston Battery.
Smart, smart, smart play. I think that was Archer just slowed his pace. If Kelly was going to get that ball, he was going to have to pick one side and try and beat Archer to the ball. He just slows his run,
Did have a bit of
little bit.
I would agree, generally not enough to draw a whistle in that scenario, but could extend that arm just a bit. Flick forward here. Barrett. Good combination play by he and Farias.
Oh, what a touch.
Even better from Walker. Thoughts on Farias's home debut?
I've been impressed. He's been in twice on 2 opportunities here in the first 30 minutes. And, you know, he's a half touch away from being able to put a bullet on goal.
Farias, the native of Sao Paulo, Brazil. This is the first year in his pro career that he has played outside of his home country. His first year in the States. Interesting to talk to Martin Rennie during the offseason about, all right, not like you have this extensive scouting budget. How do you go about finding players that want to come play in the States? And he goes, it's all about who you know. Because you always have to have those great relationships you've had for so many years that help you find players that want to come play here in the U.S.
Yeah, and you take a look, when you've been doing it long enough, you've got a guy like Matt Watson who, you know, you've seen at numerous stops. When Matt's not with Coach Rennie, he's with other teams and talking and building relationships with those players. And then when he does find a home back with Coach Rennie or in a place like this in Indy, the guys that know him are calling him up and saying, hey, what's it like? What's he like? And, you know, these are 2-class organizations that every player in the league would want to play for.
Of course, Martin, before he coached with the Indy 11, spent 3 years coaching in South Korea, which is part of the reason why Kim Do-yeon is a member of this Indy 11 roster.
What a ball.
Kim currently not with the team. We expect to see him back in a week or so. Opportunity here for Charleston. Marini, like an old training ground exercise, trying to get around Neville Hackshaw. Hackshaw wins the better of that battle so far, and throw in coming for Indy. Let's finish the story on Kim Do-yeon. Tremendous player from South Korea. We've only seen him in limited minutes so far for the Indy 11. He is actually back in Korea working on getting his coaching license, and the team knew that when they signed him before the beginning of the season. They expect to see him back here later this month, maybe as soon as next Saturday's home match against Nashville SC. So we don't see him in the 18 tonight. Also don't see Alex Cronali in the 18 as well. He has 6 starts this year. This is the first USL match he has missed since mid-March. The reason being he's on loan from the Columbus Crew, and they've had the injury bug bite them in Columbus. So he is back with the Crew temporarily. We expect to see him back here in the very near future as well.
I bet he's watching.
Well, hi, Alex. We appreciate you watching this evening. Kelly.
Oh,
great idea. More often, we have kind of seen Enevoldsen setting up Kelly and Pasture so far this year. Clearly, Kelly willing to turn the tables with that flick forward.
Well, the nice part about both Enevoldsen and Kelly is they draw so much attention that it's going to free up the other one. That if they are unselfish players, they do have that vision and ability to find the other guy. They're going to create opportunities for each other.
By the way, the final 5 minutes plus stoppage time of the first half is brought to us by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. You see to Brian Anunga, and one of the many veteran members of this Charleston Battery roster. A lot of familiar names and faces from our broadcast of them a season ago.
This is a good position ball for the 11.
Drop one. There you go.
To hear Kuzminski giving orders. Iose to send it in. Enevoldsen will track it down inside of the 18, but Kuzminski yet again cuts off the angle. One time this year, Kuzminski and this team have allowed 3 goals. That was their loss to Bethlehem on April the 13th. This is the 4th road match of the season for the Battery. A win, a draw, and a loss. Enevoldsen trying to find Kelly. Kelly got Kuzminski off his line, but Kuzminski stands tall and knocks one away from an open net.
That was an incredible ball by Enevoldsen.
Voltsen last year 20 goals with Orange County. Native of Denmark. Played numerous stops in Europe before coming to the States a season ago. And that's a foul against Dane Kelly. Gonna stop to make sure Anunga is okay.
Oh my goodness! It's like Kelly and Voltsen have played together their entire career. They know where the other one is. They could both deliver a ball to find the space or find the feet of the other one.
Reference the fact that Kelly played previously in Charleston. Picked up a lot of his goals playing for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Spent last year at DC United, but rarely saw the field. Was loaned out to the Richmond Kickers briefly for part of last season.
Think about that. Think if he stayed in the USL last year. What's he at? 72 goals now?
71.
71 goals right now.
Hoping for 72 this year.
You figure he's worth 12 to 15 in the season. He'd be knocking on the door of 100 goals in this league.
Gibson. Mueller able to win the foot race there. We think we're not looking at an overabundance of stoppage time here at the end of this half. It's been largely whistle free. Voltsen leaves it for Gibson, but he's offside.
Yeah.
Flags up.
Yeah, but what a clever ball. What a clever ball. I think Voltsen's got 6 sets of eyes. He sees everything in every direction.
And when you hear him talk about, or not just, you see the numbers, you see goal score, you see the 20 he had a year ago, you really don't know about the creator he has been for this team. He's looked to do that almost more than score goals so far this year.
Now, here's the difference between good players, very good players, and great players. He's not just looking to put Gibson in. He's knocking that ball to Gibson's feet.
Final minute before stoppage time. The better of the scoring chances as the half has worn along have come from the Indy 11. There's another one in the works. Ioze couldn't get it to Voltsen. Mueller got in the way. Again, in the second half, there's a lot of scoring punch available off the bench for Charleston tonight. They don't have a full collection of subs. In fact, they have just 16 players in uniform. But the field players they have available as subs all have a habit of finding the back of the net. No stoppage time at the end of the first half. When you glance at the fourth official, he doesn't hold up the board. That means you're done after 45 minutes, as was the case tonight. So the Indy 11 faithful still really haven't seen much in the way of home goals this season. Last one back on March 31st against Hartford Athletic. But they continue to see their team give up 0 goals at home this year. If you include Open Cup play, that streak has now gone to over 400 minutes. 0-0 our score at halftime. Indy 11, Charleston Battery. Halftime show comes your way next as you're watching on My Indy TV and ESPN+.
You would anticipate that
A collision there.
given a yellow card was Newton. And now he has been given a red card, and Jordan Farr will be coming on.
Gibson. Flick forward, and it's in the back of the net. And who else? Flick forward, and it's in the back of the net. And who else?
To hold the ball up and get some support.
Lansing ignite. And a save by Farr.
It's probably for
Fans picture your attention to midfield in the 11th chapter. Tonight's halftime hero of the game, Whitney Hamilton. Whitney Hamilton served in the United States Army from 1972 to 1975. Several years ago, he came to HBAF to receive help for his addiction. With the help of HBAF and back on my feet, Whitney's now playing.
Welcome back here at Lucas Oil Stadium. Scoreless again at halftime between the Charleston Battery and the Indy 11. Thank you so much for joining us for Indy 11 Soccer here on My Indy TV and ESPN Plus, as per usual, alongside Brad Hodder, Greg Rakestraw with you. Impressions on the opening 45 minutes of this one?
Loved it. If you're a fan of goals, you don't like this. But if you like the little things and the attention to detail, this is a great game.
Well, we have referenced Wednesday night numerous times. Again, not a league match for the Indy 11, but for the first time in 3 years, a home match in the U.S. Open Cup. And for the Indy 11, it was also the Open Cup win, but it didn't come without its challenges. That physical confrontation between Evan Newton, an oncoming player from Lansing Ignite. Originally a yellow card, turned into a red card, but the Indy 11 have had experience playing a man down this year. It did not deter the attack, and Thomas Enevoldsen would find the only goal of the game in minute 57.
That's the great thing about goal scorers. They make the goalkeeper have to make a save.
We referenced Jordan Farr making his pro debut. Again, the defense in front of him did a great job of limiting the opportunities he would see, but still, when his name was called, the second-year pro was ready for the challenge.
Looked calm, looked composed, solid. You know, this is a moment here. You can see his heartbeat isn't racing.
1-0, Indy 11 advances on, and so they will play the Pittsburgh Riverhounds on May 29th. Then they will turn around and they will play Pittsburgh here on June 1st. So they will see the Riverhounds twice in 4 days, and if they can win that match, then it's going to be likely an MLS opponent in round 4, and it'll also be the furthest the Indy 11 have advanced in Open Cup play.
I love the Pittsburgh back-to-back. You get to start seeing little tactical adjustments, little tweaks, what each coach is thinking about doing.
By the way, the Indy 11 have a new addition. It's possible we could see him tonight, their third Academy Player of the Year, Emerson Nieto. He is from Fort Wayne, 17 years of age. He is in the 18 tonight for head coach Martin Rennie.
Love that. Love the commitment from this club to this state from the very beginning, and then also on the development side to bring in younger players and develop them through the system.
And then there has been a friendly added to the Indy 11 schedule on August the 13th. It is at Detroit City FC. They're a club of some degree of renown from the NPSL. A couple of former Indy 11 men have played for them, like Corey Miller and Greg Janicki. That match was added in part because it came in the middle of a 15-day gap between Indy 11 matches in August, from August the 3rd to August the 18th. Time now for the best of Week 10 in the USL.
Look at Taylor moving up.
And Taylor with a beautiful strike. Are you kidding? It's 1-0 in the 12th minute. What can you say about a center back who has... It's loud, and what a rip from Connor Presley. Oh, how's that for an equalizer? And he decided just to reach his leg out there and see what he could do.
Now North Carolina with a chance. Now a shot by Miller! Stephen Miller with the strike inside the 18, ties this game up at 1 in the 66th minute. Fleming's early ball in. John on the first time! Oh, that is clinical from Adam John! Oh, look at Fleming's and Picaro just toying with RGV. Breaking in, Kasim! Oh, what a save by Matt Pickens! Got a run from distance, and it's a goal. With the left and in. And what a save from Van Oekel.
Here's a chance for Castillo, who puts it in!
Rodriguez returning for Reynolds. His delivery through the penalty area will fall here, and Tessman! What a strike that is from Tanner Tessman, who's equalized for North Texas.
Sweet footwork. Gallardo, the attack, and the blast, and a goal!
One more go at it for Toronto, headed on and in! Beautiful strike there!
Shalani serves it towards the back post. Headed in the back of the net. It's a goal for Lansing Ignite.
Back to Lucas Oil Stadium. Time now for a look around the league. Our out-of-town scoreboard brought to us by Crown Plaza Indianapolis downtown. Let them assist you with your next meeting or event. You notice the theme. It's 0-0 here. It's 0-0 everywhere in the Eastern Conference. This is the Eastern Conference action this evening. You'll also notice a pair of matchups that will take place tomorrow, featuring Swope Park Rangers, Atlanta United 2, Bethlehem Steel, and Ottawa Fury. But the East is still looking for that first goal of this Saturday night.
That's that goalkeeper's dream right there. Look at that, 6 clean sheets.
That also might be a sign of some tired legs from most, not all, but most of these teams featuring an Open Cup play at midweek. Time to look now at the table in the Eastern Conference, the standings coming in. And yes, the Indy 11 are 8th, but they have a game in hand on virtually everybody else in the Eastern Conference, if not 2. And entering tonight, just 6 points back of first place, which is why 3 points would be massive for the Indy 11 this evening.
It is. It's on the table for both of these. Charleston can keep themselves in the conversation for the top tier of the Eastern Conference, and the 11 stay in a playoff spot.
It is early. After tonight, the Indy 11 only have 25 more matches left to go in the regular season.
That's awesome.
Action at Lucas Oil Stadium. Second half action is not that far away. We'll have that for you. First half highlights and a conversation with head coach Martin Running when we come back.
Sports injury? See Community Health Network Sports Medicine Specialist. Visit Community Sports Injury Walk-In Clinic, open Monday through Saturday from 8 to 10 a.m. Learn more at ecommunity.com/walk-in. All right, friends, get on your feet. It's time for the Honda T-shirt toss. So make some noise. Who wants a T-shirt?
Fans preparing to get ready for second half action here at Lucas Oil Stadium. They hope to see a goal for the home side, at least in this building, for the first time since March 31st. No goals to show you, but plenty of highlights from half number one. And especially, Brad, as the half went along, we saw more and more scoring opportunities for the home team.
Yeah, you started to see a little bit more focus in the attacking third. The passes were more dangerous. The runs were quicker. The pace was a little bit different.
Lukas Farias making his first in the 11 start. Certainly factored in the attack in the first half.
Absolutely. In fact, you know, that touch lands in front of him. I think he's got a really dangerous shot on goal. And then this is a great ball that he sends across the front of the box.
Tremendous cross. Dane Kelly, of course, the intended target, looking for his team best 5th goal of the season. He saw some early chances for the Charleston battery, but again, more numerous for the home team.
That's just a ridiculous ball right there. It's just incredible. The pace was correct. The placement was correct. It's brilliance.
So moments away from second half action getting underway. He'll be joined by the head coach of the Indy 11 in Martin Rennie, coming up in just a matter of moments. And my goodness, Brad, look at that possession. 68% possession for the Indy 11. That's not a number we're used to seeing for this team on a regular basis.
But you could see that it was very, very difficult. The battery dropped their outside midfielders back, and they played with a back line of 5 when the 11 possessed.
Now, Brad and I are rarely accused of being fashion plates, but I think this is going to help our street cred a little bit. So we'll hold this up a little bit. This was debuted by the Indy 11 on Thursday at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. These are being termed their Racing Indy jerseys. They will be wearing these next Saturday night when they play host to Nashville SC. So it is returned to the checkered look. But again, as we talked about earlier in the first half, this is the first time the Indy 11 have played a home game on race weekend. So the night before the Indianapolis 500, you can come see this team in these sweet kits. Again, that would be next Saturday night against Nashville SC. 7 o'clock is the kickoff. You can, of course, see it on My Indy TV or on ESPN+. Moments away from being joined by the head coach of the Indy 11 in Martin Rennie. He's joining us now. Coach, your thoughts on the opening half?
Yeah, just we need to play a little bit quicker, and we need to do a better job when we're up in the opponent's half, when we lose the ball, of really pressing it quickly to not let them out. And if we can do that and get a few waves of attack, I think we can get a goal and be in a good position. I think at the moment we're possessing the ball pretty well, but there's not enough focus and energy in that final third and in that pressing when the ball turns over.
Lukas Farias making his starter's debut for you this evening. Your thoughts about his opening 45 minutes?
Yeah, I think he's done well. He's looked good on the ball. He's been a threat getting forward, and yeah, couldn't really ask for too much more from him, but it's just we need to be a bit more decisive in that final third, and when we get those chances we need to be clinical. It's been a little bit of a sticky start at home where we've not really been putting the ball in the net as we would like, and tonight we've got to put that right.
Coach, thanks for the time. We'll talk to you after the match.
Okay, thanks.
Head coach of the Indy 11 in Martin Rennie, always appreciate his time for a quick conversation heading to half number 2. And by the way, it looks like there is going to be a substitution at the start of this half as well, and it will be for the Indy 11. So Tyler Pasture is going to enter the match. Kenny Walker, and again, that could be simply a way to distribute minutes, knowing both those guys went the distance on Wednesday night.
And you now add this other little card you can throw on the table with the pace of Pasture. So
Pasture, now you can go back to what is that kind of more typical 3-man front for the Indy 11. Kelly, Enevolds, and Pasture. And you also probably expect to see Tyler Gibson slide back into more of that central midfielder's role.
Well, I think everything that Coach Rennie was saying is articulated in the stats. You know, you referenced the possession. What was that, 68% to 30?
Yeah.
So you outpossess a team more than 2-1 if my math is correct, and yet the statistics are even as far as shots. You know, it should be slanted very, very differently. So what it says is you've got the ball, but you're not creating opportunities. You're not doing enough dangerous things with the ball.
And the always quick left-footed combination, Iose and Pasture. Pasture immediately plays across that Kuzminski could not clear. However, last touch by Kelly. Goal kick coming for Charleston.
You take a look at that. What a great sub. You know, here we are 1 minute into the match. It already starts to create an opportunity.
Pasture on the season. This is his 8th appearance, his 3rd as a sub. Does have 1 goal. That came in the 3-0 victory against the Bethlehem Steel back on April the 20th. That was the last league win for the Indy 11. Opportunity here now for Charleston. Mario Piggott with the ball at his feet for the Battery. Finds Kotaro Higashi. And as they have all season long, when you start to sense kind of a transition opportunity for the opposing team, the Indy 11 do a great job of, after a touch or two, quickly shutting it down. Last time that this team was scored against was by the New York Red Bulls 2. That was their last loss back on Sunday, April the 28th. No coincidence that Tom Barlow factored into that decision for the Red Bulls. He's only got 8 goals to lead the league coming into tonight's play.
I like this move to go back to 3 up top for the 11. You know, when you take a look at it, they've played the, virtually every minute with 3 forwards this season.
Pasture, Kelly, Enevoldsen. Yeah, this has more or less been a 3-4-3 team all season long.
And the question you always ask yourself as a coach is, at what point do we say, look, we're going to play this way and you're going to have to adjust to us and we're going to be great at what we do, versus what kind of wrinkles do we throw in based on opponents? And there's not a right answer, there's not a wrong answer. But certainly the amount of minutes they've played in the 3-4-3, this is a more comfortable feel for them right now.
Kelly wants the ball back post. Hackshaw tries to oblige, couldn't get it to it, as Van Schaik and Mueller combined to get in the way. Good challenge by Gibson. Marini wanted the foul call, didn't get it. Mueller got a boot to it. Pasture, the closest player there for the Indy 11. 3 behind the ball for Indy. These two, when they play again, it'll be in September. And the 11 will visit on a Saturday night, September the 7th, to the Low Country.
I'd be willing to bet that that game is going to have massive impact.
That'll be about 6 weeks out from the end of the season. And we've talked about this, how the Indy 11 have been a game or 2 behind in terms of games played. They really don't catch up on that until September and October. They have a slew of midweek games to end the year. In other words, the Indy 11 will kind of have that nugget of being able to catch 3 and 6 points on some teams in front of them for most of the season. Higashi finds a seam. The turn, shot doesn't get through.
Great positioning by Hackshaw.
Of all the many skills that Neville has, he is phenomenal at just that. This time of year, we talk about shots blocked. We tend to talk about teams in, say, a Stanley Cup final series. The Indy 11 have been great at that skill all year long. So Pasture already joined the mix as a sub. The other subs available for Martin tonight: Mitch Osmond, Matt Watson, Macaulay King, Emerson Nieto, and Aliun Jahate. Jahate got the start on Wednesday, but when the change had to be made in goal, he exited in the 20th minute. And again, Charleston, that sideline's been tricky for the Battery tonight.
I'll tell you, they've had the opportunities. They've pulled the ball off of turnovers in the middle third a number of times, and they're just missing on that pass to send a guy in with the 11 exposed a bit defensively.
And Pasture will be whistled for the foul as Higashi goes to the turf, and Pasture will see a yellow card. So the first yellow of this match will go to Tyler Pasture. He earns it some 5 minutes in.
The yellow card caution has been issued by
Take another look at the offense by Pasture. Oh my gosh, he's still feeling the effects of it. Fans, this portion of the match brought to us by the Denny Companies, tearing down the past so you can build the future. Enevoldsen flicks it forward for Pasture. When Pasture thought the ball was going out wide, Enevoldsen went more of traditional route one that time.
Well, you've got Pasture and Kelly both in the center of the field. You just knock it forward, and you've got pace that can chase it down.
Basawa can't clear Hackshaw, but does earn a corner. And this is the first corner of the match for the Battery. Indy only had one in the opening 45. By the way, this portion of the match presented by Community Health Sports Medicine. Dream big, work hard, and finish strong.
One more time, boys. Come on, one time.
Candela to take the corner for the Battery. Fleckton Newton ready for the challenge. That was Mueller.
Veteran ball by Mueller just to get that on frame.
And much as the North Carolina match 2 weeks ago, nothing, and all of a sudden it's there. In other words, it was limited traffic for Newton in the opening 45 minutes. Kelly got ahead to that ball first to allow Indy 11 to reset defensively. Looking back post, and Anunga would like to have that one back. Wasn't much of a window there, but still he'd like to have a better effort than that one. Quick restart here by Newton. Mention the fact that just 5 subs available for Coach Anhauser and the Battery. Obviously 4 of those are field players, but namely Ian Svantesson. If you include the Open Cup, 6 matches, 5 goals this year. Turnover here, 3v3. Space left, and Barrett made that play look easier than it was. Daly, Svantesson, Mason, and Lewis, the field players available. Now Pasture letting some teammates cycle forward here. So we'll hit the reset button to Ioze. Gibson.
Well, they are tough to break down.
Trying to find just a little bit of space for Kelly, but there's little of anything there.
Yeah, they got 5 back with the bringing their outside mids back, and then they got 3 in a front screen in front of that back 5. There's no channels, no lanes. They're very disciplined in how tightly they stay connected.
Pasture wants the ball wide and gets it accordingly from Ioze. Pasture plays it across. Enevoldsen!
Oh, my goodness.
Thomas Enevoldsen loves the idea. Just couldn't keep it on frame.
And that's one of those ones right there that you wait, you possess, you wait for the opportunity. And here, Piggott leaves Pasture to go press Ioze, and he gets caught in no man's land. Ioze finds the space for Pasture, who delivers a great ball to Enevoldsen.
Looking for his 2nd goal of the week. Potential turnover here. See what Pasture can do with it. Iose slides that between two defenders. Kelly again the target. The buildup has been there for the Indy 11, just not the decisive finishing touch. They slowly work numbers forward here. Iose goes down, asking for contact, won't get it because he puts his hands on the ball. It'll be a foul going in the other direction.
That's really good build-up by the 11. You know, you're going to have to do some things that are a little bit non-conventional. So you've got Iose that is popping into these seams in between these box of defenders for the batter, and they're just looking to play little combinations to see which defender is going to bite on that ball, and then can they exploit the space that he comes from.
Fans get updates and alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. Search for Indy 11, then click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores. Plus, get reminders on the 11's next match. Go to ESPN.com now and click follow for more on your club. From a tactic standpoint, what can you change? What do you want to change if you're Indy 11 head coach Martin Renning?
Well, I think Pasture's made an immediate impact. So finding his space and letting him run and seeing if he can get that early serve in has been very effective. I also like the little adjustment. I don't know if it's one that tactically came from the bench or something Iose has seen about him popping into these little pockets between defenders. I think you've been effective on both of those.
Possession 70% for the Indy 11. Pasture weaving his way through traffic. Just couldn't get back onto that ball in time. But you saw the tremendous skill of Tyler Pasture on display to match that speed.
Just electric. What a decoy. What a ball that he lets run there, and then if he doesn't get that little arm held, and that's two by Archer. You know, you talked about you weren't gonna call it on Kelly because it was kind of a half chance. These things do get into an official's brain. Okay, it's a half chance on Kelly. Here's a quarter chance on Pasture. I think the next time Archer's going to reach out and grab somebody, that could be a whistle, could be a card.
I mean, this has largely been a whistle-free game. And a corner coming. There was not any in the first half. Now 3 in the first 15 minutes for the Battery.
And these are the game changers. You look at the turnovers and allowing, you know, Charleston, who's had, you know, less than a third of possession in the game, to be able to expose a back line that's not in good defensive shape, and restarts. These are the things that can change the rhythm of the game really quickly.
Kieran Mason is about to be the first sub of this game for the Battery. Won't be in time for this corner. As Candela sends it in, looking back post, and Enevoldsen got there first for the Indy 11. And well done by Enevoldsen, just to buy some time and real estate. Good read by Anunga. You talked about this with Kuzminski, but I think it applies to the entire team. This is a team that has done their homework in the video room as to where a lot of these passes for the Indy 11 like to go. And Hackshaw will shepherd that ball successfully for a goal kick for Evan Newton.
I mean, a tip of the hat to Coach Anhauser and you know, the way that they do prepare for the game. You look anytime it's in transition, you've got heads that are turning to find Enevoldsen and find Kelly, where they are, where their space is.
This Sports the Match is presented by Delta Faucet. Delta Faucet, see what Delta can do. Pasture turns on the Jets. Tries to keep that ball in play. Gets to it. But Mueller watches it trickle harmlessly over the end line for a goal kick. And now we will see that substitution for Kieran Mason. And Mason will be brought on, giving Dante Marini. Mason new to Charleston Battery, but from Trinidad and Tobago. He played for W Connection. Of course, they are missing Charleston Battery, one of their top players, their top player from last year, and Atula Guerra, who had 15 goals last year. He is still on the roster, but has had travel issues getting back into the country. So he has not played for Charleston this year, and the fact they've won 4 and lost just 1 again speaks to the successful team model Mike Anhauser has built with the Battery.
And think about the confidence builder that is. You've got a 15-goal scorer that's going to be returning at some point to you this season.
Bit of a casual pass at the back. Almost led to a chance for the Battery. Great read by Iose. And Pasture, turf monster, got him. He was setting up his next move, and to use the Indy 500 analogy, blew a tire making the turn. Fans for standings, stats, and all the latest league news, be sure to visit USLChampionship.com. Ever since maybe say the first 10 minutes, possession has been in favor of the Indy 11.
I tell you, really, you've got to catch the Battery before they can get their back line and then their front screen set, because they give you nothing.
Iose, great turn, just couldn't keep it at his feet. Hackshaw a stumble, but a foul is given as the reason for that stumble against Basua. Look at the last foul that sent Hackshaw tumbling. You kind of see the tail end of it.
Yeah, and you can see the frustration, because there have been a couple of these inadvertent guys getting their feet tangled up, and a couple of them haven't been called.
Opportunity here. This is the youngster in Mason. Pasture with him step for step. Higashi.
Good touch.
Couldn't get the shot through. You said something earlier about blocking shots. There's Patty Barrett doing it again. Overlapping run by Piggott. And again, a ball he'd like to have back.
You know, the blocking shots, it's an art. I mean, you have to understand, you know, the player. You have to
Things tilting a bit now in favor of the Battery. And Newton can rather easily track that one down. You see Candela. He has played in now 9 of the 10 league matches for the Battery this season. By the way, Mason, their substitution. He is making his Charleston Battery debut, at least in league play. Pasture and Archer get tied up again. And Archer's doing a great job of being physical, but avoiding a whistle inside of the 18.
He is right on that line.
And you see Martin Rennie is lobbying for a potential whistle against the defender for the Battery.
He actually read it right. I mean, he had the right read on it. He had the right pace that he didn't have to commit the foul. He was able to get a little bit of position and get shoulder to shoulder with Pasture.
By the way, Ian Svantessen is about to enter for the Charleston Battery, which means their scoring propositions will likely increase when Svantessen joins the mix. 2 goals in 20+ minutes to keep Charleston in the U.S. Open Cup on Wednesday night. By the way, they will play at Nashville in 2 weeks, will the Battery. And Basua gets directed towards the ground, and that will be another yellow card showing towards the Indy 11, and that will go to Patty Barrett. So second yellow of the half for the Indy 11. First against Pasture, that one against Barrett. And now Svantessen will enter. To Brian Onunga will exit. Second sub for the Battery, and look at the foul that allows the stoppage. And I thought it was against Barrett. It may be against Dane Kelly.
And not a bad foul. What you prevented there was Ouimet having to make a decision to either step to the ball or stay in the space to protect the run.
And again, that foul was on Kelly, so the yellow shown to Kelly, not Patty Barrett. So there is Svantessen. Last year, 4 goals for the former UAB Blazer, and at 6'6", quite a target. But again, Neville Hackshaw very familiar with him from a season ago.
Oh, that's an incredible ball.
Kelly and Enevoldsen to his right. Pasture crosses to Enevoldsen. Enevoldsen tries to slide it through, ends up bouncing off of Kelly.
Just took too long. Just took too long to develop. Got 6 guys back.
By the way, this Sports the Match brought to us by Honda Manufacturing of Indiana, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. And that'll be a foul against Indy. Barrett with the shoulder to Higashi. So just one more sub available for the Battery. And again, if it's a field player, it's either Daly or Lewis. They brought just 4 field players and their backup netminder for tonight's match. And Hackshaw and Svantessen. Hackshaw has not let Svantessen out of his sight since entering the match a couple of minutes ago, and that'll be a foul against the Battery. Fans, the USL unveiled its elite youth platform, USL Academy. This allows clubs at all levels across the USL to develop its local youth and compete at the highest level in the United States, including the USL Academy Cup. For more information, visit uslsoccer.com/academy. And a goal-scoring chance denied for the Indy 11.
Wow, what a great ball by Farias to find Enevoldsen at the top of the box.
The takeaway by Barrett. Player down at the other end for the Charleston Battery, but the takeaway by the Battery. So we play on with a man down currently for Charleston. Svantessen points to a spot. Hackshaw gets in his way. Newton swallows it up, and now will we stop? Yep, now we'll go back behind the play.
And what a great read by Hackshaw on that, understanding, you know, he's played with Ian for a number of years, so he understands the run, he understands the space that he wants, and just gets in his way, marshals it back, and allows Newton to come and collect the ball.
Let's go back to the last scoring chance for the Indy 11.
Look at that ball.
And Mueller able to steer that ball away. And again, the veteran move, get those hands behind your back immediately. He's done this for a few years.
You know, it was textbook. You know, he took up part of the goal, and he, you know, allowed the goalkeeper to slide into the near post and know that the back post was going to be covered a little bit by his body. You got a 20-goal scorer who's got a knack for putting that ball on frame.
Everybody taking advantage of this hydration break. First-year assistant coach Juan Guerra firing up the troops on the sidelines. Newton potentially 20-ish minutes away from his 42nd shutout as a goalkeeper at the USL Championship level. He'd like to do it, though, in an effort that nets his team 3 points and not 1. For the native of Virginia Beach, Virginia. We referenced the fact that he got a chance to go around the 2-seater on Thursday at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He is a big-time Formula One fan. Got that from his dad, so I know the opportunity to be out there at the historic Indianapolis Motor Speedway meant a lot to Evan. Many members of the team had their chance to go to the track on Thursday and debut those racing Indy jerseys, which we were able to showcase to get halftime. Kelly, the target. Mueller came up worse for wear on the collision behind the play, and now referee sees it. And again, because it was head-to-head contact, and there might be some blood coming from the nose of Mueller from the looks of it. So even though that kind of stopped a potential scoring chance for Charleston, they'll stop things immediately. So we had 0 added time at the end of the first half with subs, and now this stoppage. We will have some at the end of this half. Let's take a look. Again, nothing there from a foul standpoint,
nope.
Just part of the game.
Yep.
Now, if they can't get this stopped, they don't want to make him the final sub. They will play temporarily a man down.
And that's a guy you do not want off
right.
the field unless he says, I just can't go.
Well, I don't think it's a health issue. I think it's more of a stop the blood issue.
And there have been guys that have played 8 years with a franchise before. And so, you know, that's not a rarity. But 8 years with the same franchise and the same coach, that's a rarity. And the same assistant coach.
A little bit of fight doctor work is going on here currently.
Love it.
You don't have to come out at least momentarily, but they get the blood cleaned up and make sure it's stopped.
There's nothing that rallies your team and motivates your team more than your captain shoving gauze up his nose.
And I can't say that I had great familiarity with Mueller's nose before tonight's game. I'm not sure it was in the shape it was a couple of minutes ago.
It has a unique look to it tonight.
I would say it's lost its shape after meeting Mr. Kelly a couple of minutes ago. And immediately Coach Anhauser says, yep, just go to the 4th official, go straight away.
Anhauser's just pointing at midfield.
No need to talk to me. I know what you got. Go back.
Love it. 2 warriors right there.
They'll try to get the blood stopped on the sidelines, which tells me also Charleston will slow the pace down a little bit while they're playing a man down. So Mason rotates to the back line, currently with Mueller out of the game for Charleston. Can Indy take advantage? Oh, great read by Patterson. That's where Farias wanted the ball. Patterson just got there first.
Yeah, that ball's got to be overhit. The one thing that will get you is that sustained possession where your midfield starts pressing forward, your forwards are deep, and then all of a sudden you have a ball that's under hit and in a lane that becomes a toe. Oh my goodness.
What a ball from Iose.
Oh my
Leaves
goodness.
it for Enevoltson, but couldn't get there in time. Van Schaik clears it. And Mueller is continuing to be worked on the Charleston sideline. So again, the Indy 11 temporarily playing with a man advantage. Right now, 5 at the back for the battery. Kelly looking to make the turn. The lone Indy 11 goal in this building, an own goal on March the 31st. Trying to change that right now. Mueller thinks he's ready to continue. We wait for a signal from the referee to wave him on. It won't happen as long as this possession continues. Patterson, great read. And now Mueller back into the fray quickly for the Battery.
And Charleston handled that very, very well.
Kelly was offside.
Let him possess, knock it around, keep him away from anything dangerous, and manage that very, very well.
This Sports the Match brought to us by Ivy Tech. Careers start here. Apply for free at ivytech.edu. Kuzminski trying to make it back-to-back shutouts for the Battery. Really haven't had to call his name as much in half number 2 as we did late in half number 1.
I don't even think he's got a save. I think he's read the game so well that he's prevented dangerous opportunities from developing.
2 subs remain for Indy, just 1 for the Battery. Pasture has Hackshaw going forward, but not on the same page. He had broken off the run right as Pasture sent him the ball. The Indy 11 are back here next Saturday night. They'll break out their new Racing Indy kits when they play host to Nashville SC. 7 o'clock kickoff. If you cannot make it to Lucas Oil Stadium, you can watch the match on MyIndy TV or on ESPN+. The demand for those jerseys has been just tremendous. Brad and I had those ones we showcased to you at halftime. We promised Trey Higgin we'd give them back. We are likely to go back on our word.
Absolutely.
But a foul has been called against We Met for a hold.
Tough when you've got 6'6" in the box right now. This lines up very, very well to knock one back post.
You see Hackshaw and it's Spontesson. It's right off his hip. So Hackshaw and We Met immediately. Number 9 there just inside of the D at the 8-yard line of the football markings. That you'd have to think is the preferred target for the Battery. Van Shake will send it in. And it's like Hackshaw played there for the last 3 years. He knew exactly where that ball was going. At the feet, Piggott. And again, there's Hackshaw yet again.
Well, he is so solid.
One of the early free agent acquisitions for the Indy 11 during the offseason. Again, 2 goals, but he's more in the goal prevention business. And he and his mates along the back line have been tremendous at that as of late. And that effort sails wide by the Battery.
Answer me this. Doesn't matter how many games the 11 play in a week, how stressful, how back and forth those games are. It does not look like Neviel Hackshaw ever gets tired.
I think it's the hair. Pasture going forward. Pasture looking back post, but didn't hit that ball the way he wanted to. Fans, to be sure to tune in on Wednesday at 8 o'clock for Wednesday Night Soccer as league newcomers Birmingham Legion FC welcome Nashville SC for an I-65 rivalry. It's the week's best match on Wednesday Night Soccer this coming Wednesday, May 22nd at 8 o'clock, and it's on ESPN News. For as solidly as the Indy 11 have played in the month of May, and they really want to get 3 points tonight. That's obvious in every match, but great effort. Little to show for it from a goals perspective. And again, if you get 3 tonight, you know that at worst you're 6 points back of the first place team in the Eastern Conference. Again, even as early as we've talked about it is still in this season. You don't want to lose touch by, say, more than a couple of games worth of points to the front runners in your conference.
Especially when, as you mentioned, a lot of those games that you're going to make up ground on are midweek games, so you're playing on short rest.
Flag went up. Indy 11 does have full rest coming up on Saturday night when they play host to Nashville. Indy entered tonight 6 points back of both Tampa Bay and Red Bulls 2. Pasture again slips behind the defense, plays it across, but directly into the waiting arms of Kuzminski.
You got to wonder if Pasture is feeling a little bit of Wednesday night, because the last 2 times that they found him out on the wing, he's been shoulder to shoulder with either Mason or Archer, and he's not turned the corner. He's looked for the early serve.
Reference the fact that Indy 6 points back of both Tampa Bay and Red Bulls 2. Those two are playing each other tonight. Tampa Bay currently a 1-0 lead in that match. Throw in coming here. By the way, Matt Watson about to enter for the Indy 11. Going to replace Nico Mattern. Solid effort by Nico tonight. But Matt Watson will enter the match. And could Matt find a late goal for Indy this evening? So both teams with 1 substitution available. The flick by Enevoldsen.
Yeah, there's just no room. There's just no room. You got to try and catch him before they get set.
Bit of a real estate ball that time by Svantesson. Wherever you go, fans, you can take the boys in blue with you. Download the all-new Indy 11 app in the Apple Store, or you can get it on Google Play. The song remains the same. Find Pasture, find space, left side. Sets up some space. Plays it across. And finds the back of the net. Ricochets it off Kuzminski. First Indy 11 home goal since March 31st. And now a chance to get the full 3 in front of the home crowd.
Great finish. Great finish. Kuzminski cheated just a little bit. He had the angle, he had the near post. All he has to do is stand up to that ball.
And for the Charleston Battery fans, it is almost the exact same fashion in which they got the game-winning goal on Wednesday night against Greenville, when it looked like there wasn't much space. Not a cross, takes the shot, ricochets off the shoulder, and Pasture his 2nd goal of the season.
And you take a look at the value of Dane Kelly on that ball. He's sitting in the middle of the box. He's in Kuzminski's peripheral vision. That is the reason that he is not covering that near post, is he has to be ready for that ball that gets slotted across the box.
And credit to Pasture, it had been cross, cross, cross. Picked the right time to take the shot. Zico Lewis, by the way, will become the final substitution for the Battery. Again, out there chasing a goal to try to get at least a point out of this. Lewis, who played his professional soccer in Iceland last year, will enter the fray for the Battery.
Not only is he leading them in every offensive statistical category, but check this out. In college, he was captain as a sophomore, junior, and senior. Do you realize what kind of leadership you have to just have genetically to have your guys vote you every year?
When these two teams played last year, there were a lot of goals scored after the 80th minute. Could we see that again tonight? Lewis, 3 goals and 2 assists. You reference his college days. He played at Boston College. Zico's got ties to the island of Bermuda as well. So he's the third and final substitution, and they've all been of an attack-minded nature for Coach Anheuser and the Battery. Do you change at all how you play this game now tactically if you're the Indy 11?
I'd like to sit in a little bit more. You've got the 3 points in hand. You've got to navigate the last 3.5 minutes. Plus, I'm thinking there's probably about 5 in extra time. So you don't want to get too stretched. So I like this move. Pasture's tucked back a little bit into the midfield. I think that's going to help. You don't need his pace up top right now.
Final 5 minutes plus stoppage time, brought to you by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. I think you and I had a conversation either during a broadcast or off the air. Weren't sure if this was going to be the same team that could win games 1-0 the way the Indy 11 did last year. Kelly trying to look for a second goal to give a little bit of breathing space. Played across. Enevoldsen.
Wow.
Could not steer it on frame.
What a ball. What a ball by Dane Kelly, and a great run by Enevoldsen.
And then Kuzminski's clearance inadvertently ricochets off of Enevoldsen. So now it'll go back to a goal kick here for Kuzminski.
Love that passion.
So it makes the Dane great, is it not?
Absolutely. They are a fiery lot.
And this is my weekly reminder to our viewing audience that do not know Brad's backstory the way I do. Played professionally in Denmark. Wife is from Denmark. Mason.
It's the young decision right there.
Yep, 20 years old.
Young decision. It's got to be a little bit more complexity and thought at this point in the game.
Indy 11 looking to make it 450 minutes in matches played at Indianapolis this year without giving up a goal. And that's including the Open Cup on Wednesday night. And Kelly got clobbered and asks for at least a card there. Looks like he's not going to get it, but frankly, a stoppage in play is a good thing for the Indy 11 at this point.
And I'd say impressive job of coaching by Coach Anheuser there. You listened to him, Coach Mason, on that ball. It wasn't an elevated tone, wasn't an aggressive tone. Just said, hey, take your time, take your time, take your time. That's coaching not just in this moment, but that's making sure you don't lose the player later on.
And there was a yellow card eventually given in that scenario. Didn't see it at first, but first yellow of the match to go against the Battery. And not exactly a lot of numbers being thrown forward right now by the Indy 11. Not at all a surprise.
Mr. Kelly will finish this game on an island.
And we have been told there's still plenty of time left in this match. 5 minutes of stoppage time. 5 minutes left of stoppage time once we get to the end of the 90. Just seconds from now.
The last time they played here was it was 2 goals in the last.
Correct.
5
One
minutes.
for each side. One for Iose. And an answer on a long run by Neville Hackshaw to set it up for the Charleston Battery.
Good ball.
Svantesson tries to settle it. Ouimet doesn't let that happen. Bit of a nervous ball from Pasture to Iose. But Matt Watson will shepherd it away from trouble. Good takeaway by Anunga. Svantesson couldn't find space. Indy, by the way, does have one more substitution they can make. Just they're looking to kind of stretch a little time at this juncture. 1 minute of the 5 elapsed. Great ball by Barrett. Kelly and Enevoldsen. Oh. Kelly will burn a little more time with this now. Possession is much more than 9/10 of the law right now for the Indy 11. Looking for their first win in just 3 tries against the Charleston Battery. A 3-3 draw here a year ago, a 2-1 loss a few weeks later in Charleston. When we talk about these teams being in a playoff position and expected to be playoff teams, it's very early in the season to use this cliche, but I think it's applicable here, Brad. It's kind of felt like a playoff match.
It has.
Hackshaw, fantastic. Does he get one against his own team? His old team. Kelly, a bit aggressive there, but that took a touch off a Charleston player. That will be a corner, absolutely. A fortuitous bounce for the Indy 11. And more of the sands of the hourglass will fall to the bottom in favor of the home team.
That'll kill 30, 45 seconds before you even kick the ball. But as we've seen, it only takes them 1 run. Cannot click off.
Indy 11 fans have not seen their team lose a home match in this building since July 4th of last year. And Hackshaw currently on the turf, stretching out just a little bit. And he may be done for the night, because it looks like we're going to see Mitch Osmond get to make his Indy 11 debut. Osmond is at the 4th official. Osmond originally from Australia, but played college soccer here in Indiana at tiny Calumet College of St. Joseph. Was first team All-American in 2018. He was a late draft pick by Minnesota United in the MLS Super Draft. Went to camp with the Indy 11. This has been a night where, even with so many familiar names and faces carrying over from Wednesday's Open Cup match, guys like Osmond and Farias get an opportunity to feature here. Obviously, Farias for a much longer period of time, but Osmond being asked to come on at a key moment. And originally, it was supposed to be, I think, Enevoldsen that was coming off for Osmond. But Hackshaw certainly acted like it's going to be him coming off for Osmond.
And then what's the move you make when you pull a back off the field? Who do you drop back there? The Swiss Army knife, Matt Watson, who plays absolutely anywhere, virtually flawlessly.
So it is Osmond coming on. Enevoldsen is exiting. Hackshaw over by the 4th official. So the Indy 11 playing a man down. And all of this has taken about 60 to 90 seconds off the clock. So we will go past 5 minutes of added time, no doubt. Hackshaw asked to be waved back on, and now gets the sign he can return. Kelly comes out of there with it. Again, past 5 minutes, but because of the sub, because of the Hackshaw injury, I would expect at least 6 minutes before this comes to its conclusion.
They might have 1 run left in this game.
Lewis can't get it past Patty Barrett. Eyes turned towards the referee for a glance at the wristwatch. It hasn't happened yet. It was a 94th minute equalizer last year in this building for the Battery. Could there be one in the 96th or the 97th? That touch by Farias goes a long way in making sure that does not happen. And Kelly gonna have to do a bit more with it. A late goal. The only goal belongs to Tyler Pasture, and all 3 points belong to the Indy 11 this evening.
Great match. Great match. Important 3 points. It's going to pay dividends down the road. 2 really solid teams, really solid franchises battling tonight.
For the Charleston Battery, it is just their 2nd loss of the season. Both have come away from Charleston. For the Indy 11, they have picked up their 5th win of the season, and they continue to have not allowed a goal in Marion County on the year. 4 league matches with clean sheets here at Lucas Oil Stadium, and Open Cup action Wednesday at Butler as well. Final thoughts when we come back on MyNDTV and ESPN+.
We look forward to seeing you at our next home match. That's May 25th against Nashville SC.
Welcome back for the final time in our game broadcast this evening here on MyNDTV and ESPN+. 1-0, the Indy 11, the winner over the Charleston Battery. And the man that is on your screen gets the match winner. And naturally, that becomes the West Fork Whiskey shot of the game. Indiana's premier whiskey distillery for Tyler Pasture, an all-important 2nd goal on the season.
What a difference he made in the game. I mean, the moment he came in, he started attacking the side and creating opportunities, driving that ball across. And it's like you said, you know, he's throwing the jab, the jab, the jab, the jab, then he goes for the knockout.
I love how you use the phrase a half chance, a quarter chance. I'm not sure if that was a quarter or half opening, but he found the room to make it happen, and that's 2 additional points for the Indy 11 this evening.
I'll tell you, Kuzminski played a great game. He was caught in 2 worlds there. Do you let the ball come across to Dane Kelly, you know, the career scoring leader for the USL, or do you hug the near post? He was kind of caught right in between those 2 thoughts, and Pasture beat him near post.
Pasture gets a brick for his goal tonight. He will also get an appearance with us in our Central Indiana Honey Dealers postgame show. You can argue which one of those is more valuable. We'll also talk to Lukas Farias in the postgame show as well, not to mention Indy 11 head coach Martin Rennie. So again, all of that comes your way as our Central Indiana Honey Dealers postgame show is not that far away. Next Indy 11 broadcast on MyNDTV and ESPN Plus comes your way a week from tonight when the Racing Indy jerseys make their debut against Nashville SC. Be sure to be with us next Saturday night at 7. But more post-game coverage comes your way next from Lucas Oil Stadium. Thanks for watching Indy 11 Soccer.
The telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.
Indy 11 Soccer is brought to you by Community Health. Dream big, work hard, finish strong. Community Health Sports Medicine, official sports medicine provider of the Indy 11. And by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, proud to be the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. Back inside Lucas Oil Stadium, a happy home crowd leaving tonight after the Indy 11 get a goal and all 3 points as they beat the Charleston Battery 1-0. Greg Rakestraw, Brad Hodder, but time now to talk to coaches and players at the conclusion of this one. We always start with the head coach of the Indy 11, and Martin Rennie. Congratulations, Coach, on getting all 3 points this evening.
Thank you. Yeah, it was hard fought, and it was a big 3 points for us. I thought we stuck in there. It was difficult to get things flowing. The temperature was very high, and we're coming off that game on Wednesday playing with 10 men. But really happy to get the goal, and really happy for Tyler Pasture. He had to wait a long time to get his first goal at home, I think, for the Indy 11, as far as I can remember. So really happy for him, and he came on and made a difference. He was going at people. He was making them back off a little bit. Had a couple crosses that didn't quite find their target, and then he got the goal. So it was I honestly was so happy with that win, because that's the kind of game that can drift away to 0-0. And we talked about it at half-time, where, look, we've not been scoring a lot at home at Lucas Oil. No matter what, we need to go out and score a goal, and thankfully we got that, but more importantly we got the win, and that was so big for us tonight.
Going into the game, was the plan to switch out Kenny for Tyler at halftime, or was it something you saw in the first half?
It wasn't necessarily a plan, but I had it in my mind that we would probably look to get Pasture on for his energy and his ability to beat people. And obviously we didn't know exactly who would be the player that would come off. But obviously with Kenny, he was out for quite a while with the appendicitis, getting the operation. So it's harder for him to fully recover in 2 days. But he gave us a good 45 minutes. After the first maybe 20 minutes, I thought he did quite well. But we made that change, and it worked out well for us.
They're pretty organized when when you guys were possessing the ball and they dropped their outside mids in with their back line and played 5 backs and then 3 in a screen in front of them. What are some things you're looking for from your guys in order to break down and create channels and opportunities when the space is very, very limited?
Well, yeah, first of all, Charleston are a very good team. They know how to win games in this league, and their coach is the most experienced USL coach in this league. So they're a very hard team to break down, and they get lots and lots of points, and they know how to get them on the road, and obviously pick up plenty of wins. They're always in the playoffs pretty much, and always in there challenging. So when it's like that, you really want to try and keep a good tempo to what you're doing. You want to try and get the ball going from one side to the other quickly. In this case, we got it out quickly to Pasture. There was a little bit of space, and then you need individual players then to break people down on the dribble. You need players to look for those 1-2s and get in behind, and it's then up to players to take responsibility, take chances, be creative. They might make a mistake, they might lose a ball, but what we were hoping to do, and which we did better and better as the game went on, was be high up to win the ball back. We talked about it at half-time, so that when the ball did turn over, we actually managed to keep it in there, and after a while they were less and less of a threat, and we were on top more and more. So that would be the tactics, I think, when a team's quite deep like that.
When you take a look at the results so far this season, you've had a lot of big character moments. Man down, finding a way to a draw, man down, getting a win, late goals. Those character moments and those character wins, how do they pay dividends as you build this team and as you start looking forward for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think those are really big things in the season, and we talked about it on Wednesday night when we won that Open Cup game with 10 men, and we said, we're having quite a lot of adversity early in the season. We've had, a lot of away games to begin with, and then home games with no recovery time, so our energy's down a little bit. We've had 2 games where we've had a man sent off in the first 20 minutes or so, but the thing that's been amazing about it is we've been picking up wins, we've been getting clean sheets, we've been really doing pretty well despite that fact. And usually as the season goes on, things start to go your way. You start to get a penalty kick, or you start to get maybe a guy off against you, or things start to roll a little bit. But if you can be winning in that time where it feels a little bit difficult, then that shows the character of your team. And we know we've got good players, but they're sticking in, they're sticking together, they're working hard. And tonight they really didn't give up hardly any chances. So not only did they get a clean sheet, but they're not really giving up too many opportunities either.
And to that point, final question from us again, just kind of your thoughts on defensively. You've now gone 450 minutes in games played in Indianapolis, 4 in this building, 1 over at Butler without giving up a goal. What has been the key to your defensive success?
Well, it's the team effort, the working hard from the front, and then the organisation in behind it. At different times, players have come up with important plays, important blocks, important tackles. The goalkeepers have come up with good saves when they've been called upon, but we've stayed organised and we've been working hard at it, and that's been important because we haven't been able to find the back of the net at home as much as we would like yet, but I do believe that's coming, and so it's been important for us to keep getting those clean sheets, keep picking up the points, keep picking up the wins, and little by little they all add up.
Martin, congratulations. Go enjoy the win. We'll see you next Saturday night.
Okay, thank you.
Head coach Martin Rennie of the Indy 11 after Indy does get the full 3 points. Last 2 home matches had both been 0-0 draws. 1-0 feels a heck of a lot better and different.
It does, and the way you win it, too. I mean, it's a substitution late against a really solid team that's tough to break down. You score the late goal, and so it's not just the 3 points, but it's the way that you do it that pays dividends.
So Tyler Pasture will be our next guest in our Central Indiana Hondealers post-game show. Again, his 2nd goal of the season, his 3rd goal with the Indy 11. But as Martin Rennie accurately pointed out, his first home goal in now his 2nd season with the Indy 11. And Tyler joins us now. Tyler, congratulations. And when Martin gave you the nod at halftime, hey, you're going in immediately to start the second half, what was going through your mind?
Just basically trying to get as warmed up as I can. As you know, it was a hot day for us today, and we had that long game midweek. So just basically trying to get the engine ticking and get going. I
was going to say, did you feel maybe coming in you had 45 minutes in you tonight?
No, not at first. No.
So when you look at this, your game is pretty dynamic in 2 different areas: the early serve, and then taking guys off the dribble and looking to attack that front post. What is it that you pick up in that moment to decide whether you're going to throw that early serve in or you're going to take the guy off the dribble?
Early serve, it's basically seeing how big of a distance from the goalkeeper to the back line it is. If I can get my guy, like especially Dane, who's fast, in and behind them and give him enough space to get on the ball in the end, that's when I'll put it in early. If I only see one guy in the box, then I'll take a guy on to hopefully get a few more guys in the box to give us a better chance of scoring.
Now you look at the creativity and the dynamic play between Kelly, Ina Voldsen, and yourself. 3 really guys that can change the game with a touch. What's it like playing with 2 guys like that up top, and how much pressure does it take off of you to have to create everything?
Oh, the nice thing is each guy kind of has their own specialty. So we're trying to figure out how to play off each other, and we play to each other's strengths, which makes everything easy because obviously not everybody has the same thing. So it gives us a good dynamic when we're going in the attacking third.
Tyler, we're showing the replay of the goal now. Walk us through what you saw from your angle. What told you, hey, I've got just enough space to make something happen here?
Basically, I just pushed it forward. I picked my head up, and I saw that I could play a ball across. But where I saw the goalkeeper standing, as you can see, he was off his front post so far. So I figured just hit it as hard as I can near post and see what happens. And that's what I did.
All right, Tyler, congratulations. Enjoy the brick. Enjoy the win. We'll see you here next Saturday night.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Again, Tyler Pasture with the game-winning goal, with the only goal. But a guy that factored into the attack in the first half and then kind of ended up going back to more of his goal prevention routine in half number 2. We're interviewing all the Tylers on the post-game show this evening, from Tyler Pasture to Tyler Gibson. Our first chance to catch up with him here in the post-game show. He's one of the guys that has played every minute of every league match so far this season for the Indy 11. Again, we'll get to him coming up in just a matter of moments. Looks like he's ready now. Tyler, thanks for joining us post-game, buddy. Congratulations on the win.
Hey, thanks for having me on. No, it was a good win and good first goal at home, so we're happy to get that and get a win in front of the crowd and everything, so now they'll start pouring in for us.
You got to play a little more towards the front this evening in the first half. Tell us about it.
Yeah, no, we changed our system a little bit, and no, I like getting into the box. I like a box-to-box player, so I don't mind playing either a deeper role or a more attacking role. So it was fun to find those pockets and try to get into the box a little bit more. So try to score some goals, but we changed things up a little bit in the second half and went back to our system, our normal system. So a little bit more defensive.
Now, we've seen great energy from you the whole time, you know, and you talk about yourself going box to box. How do you decide when it's time to spend that energy going forward, knowing that with a 3-back system, you've got guys that you're going to expose every time you make that run?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've always been very fit, and so most of the time I can make those runs and get back and have enough energy for that. Tonight, obviously, the winters here are pretty long in Indiana, so tonight was the hottest day we've actually played and trained, because we've been indoors because it's rained a lot, and it's been cooler until today. So it was a little bit of a shock to everybody in the first half. We were getting used to the heat and everything. I think the second half I felt personally better in the second half and felt more energized and everything. So yeah, it's just getting used to the heat and just picking the right moments. If we have good cover behind the ball, I can get forward and make it back in time.
Well, what's it like to understand that you've got 3 of the most dynamic players in the league in front of you, that you don't have to, that you can sit in that channel and you can look to try and feed the ball into pockets for them, that you don't have to get forward as much if you don't need to?
Yeah, it's nice. I can just sweep behind the ball, just cover for them, and pick up the ball, pick up seconds, and keep swinging it from side to side and finding them. That's a luxury we have with the attacking players we have in front of us. So I don't usually have to make those runs forward, so I can just stay kind of the top of the box and pick up those runs and those second balls and everything. So it's always nice to have those guys in front of us.
We've kept you on your feet long enough after the game. Go enjoy the victory, buddy. Thanks for the time. We'll see you next Saturday.
Hey, thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Looking forward to it.
Tyler Gibson joining us after an Indy 11 win. More post-game coverage comes your way next on My Indy TV. Matt Watson enjoying the afterglow of an Indy 11 victory. 1-0 against the Charleston Battery. 5th win in 9 matches played so far this season for the Indy 11. And that keeps them within 6 points of first place Tampa Bay in the Eastern Conference table. Alongside Brad Hodder, Greg Rakestraw with you here on My Indy TV. Again, the Indy 11 played well, whether they got a 0-0 draw or a 1-0 victory. But man, the latter feels so much better.
It really does. And I tell you, there are a lot of really complex problems that the Battery created for Indy 11 with the way that they it wasn't just sitting in, but when the 11 possessed it for a long time, that block of defenders was really, really difficult to break down.
It took kind of one moment of individual brilliance to break down the defense at least one time for the Charleston Battery, and that's how things played out for the Indy 11 this evening. Highlights from this one, again in the first half, possession in favor of the Indy 11. Saw a couple of chances on goal for the Battery, but Evan Newton was up to the challenge.
It's incredible. You know, the whole match, he's really not tested at all, but every time he has to step up, he does.
Other than that one header on the set piece, again, it was the Indy 11 defense getting in the way. So few balls got to Evan Newton tonight.
Hackshaw, we met, Patty Barrett, all of them did a great job of stepping in front of some dangerous opportunities.
Tyler Pasture began the second half in for Kenny Walker, and literally the offense ran through Tyler Pasture the entire half.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, you know, he changed the game with his pace, his creativity, and then you take a look at the end on this final goal. Zuminski played a fantastic game. I don't fault him for this, but he can't leave the near post. But Dane Kelly, his run into the 6, baits him into cheating a little bit towards the center.
Clearly the game winner, because it was the only goal of the game. Tyler Pasture with the tally, his second of the season, and the Indy 11 get a home win, their second of the season, in dropping the Charleston Battery. Stay tuned. Even though it's past that person's bedtime, there's more Central Indiana Honda Dealers postgame show coming your way next as you're watching Indy 11 soccer here on My Indy TV. Okay, let's do that. Scoreboard and out. You got it. Louisville, St. Louis, North Carolina, all three in the mid-sevens. Good night. Two guys who got more minutes tonight they had all season. Lukas Farias and Mitch Osmond heading towards the locker room after the Indy 11 got a 1-0 victory against the Charleston Battery. That's good news for the Indy 11. Let's see how the other results around the USL Championship went for the Indy 11 in the Eastern Conference tonight. Louisville City and St. Louis, a 0-0 draw. That's good for the Indy 11. Tampa Bay and New York Red Bulls 2. Again, the two top-placed teams playing each other. Looks like the Rowdies going to get 3 points at Al Lang Stadium. They lead 2-0 in the 87th minute. Nashville and Charlotte now tied up at a goal apiece in minute number 57, and North Carolina and Bethlehem played to a full-time draw this evening as well. Swope Park Rangers, AU2, Bethlehem Steel, Ottawa Fury Both of those matches are tomorrow, and that is your look around the league presented by the Crown Plaza, downtown Indianapolis. Final thoughts when we come back. Indy 11 get the full 3 points this evening. 1-0 over Charleston. We'll wrap it up next. Back for the final time at Lucas Oil Stadium this evening, but not the final time this month. The Indy 11 continue their homestand next Saturday when they play Nashville SC. 7 o'clock is the kickoff time. The place you can watch it is right here on MyIndy TV and ESPN+. Be here and get your Racing Indy jerseys. The Indy 11 will be sporting them next Saturday. Hopefully you can pick up your copy in the very near future. How do the Indy 11, Brad, build off of this result this evening, getting the full 3 points against a good Charleston team?
And moments like this are easy to build off of. You've got all these character moments here in the last month where you're playing a man down, you're fighting a great team, getting a draw. You're playing a man down, you're getting your U.S. Open Cup win, and then you get a late goal here, and you're doing it with different guys too. So everybody's invested in this. It's easy to build off of.
2 hard-fought wins in 4 days for the Indy 11, both of the 1-0 variety. Tonight that goal belonged to Tyler Pasture. We hope we can see that again next Saturday night. Thanks for joining us for Indy 11 Soccer. You're home for it right here on MyIndy TV.